You ever wake up to the sound of something so loud, so out of place, your brain just refuses to process it? Yeah, try starting your Tuesday with the kind of crash that makes you forget your own name. I'm talking 1 second. I'm in my robe, sipping coffee, scrolling through emails, thinking, maybe I'll finally get around to fixing that squeaky gate next second. It's like a war zone exploded outside my window. I kid you not. My mug almost went flying. So what did I do? I bolted outside, coffee dribbling everywhere. And there it was. A helicopter. An actual full-sized helicopter wedged against my picket fence like some overgrown lawn ornament you'd see at a billionaire's garage sale. Not a toy, not a drone. The real deal. And just when you think you've seen it all, get this, a big sticker on the side, Karen's son. No kidding, that name was plastered on the thing like he was running for local office or something. I'm standing there, jaw on the ground, when I hear footsteps, fast, angry footsteps, and boom, there she is. Karen herself, looking like she just smelled sour milk. Before I can even process what's happening, she points at my fence like I'm the one who just dropped an aircraft out of the sky and says, "You put it too close to the property line." Honest to God, I had to check if I was still asleep. You know how you sometimes wonder if you're being pranked? That was me waiting for someone to pop out from behind a bush, cameras rolling. But nope. Just me, Karen, and a helicopter hugging my fence for dear life. Within seconds, it's not just a mess, it's my mess. Suddenly, I'm the bad guy, like I ordered up a fence to sabotage amateur pilots. So I did what any normal, semi-responsible adult would do. I called the police. I'm thinking, okay, they'll show up, maybe talk about zoning laws, ask about insurance, probably check if anyone's hurt. You'd think that, right? Nope. 2 officers pull up, see the scene, and swear on my favorite garden gnome. They both burst out laughing. Not a nervous giggle, not a polite, "Wow, that's unusual." No, these guys are struggling to keep it together, one even holding his stomach. I mean, who could blame them? Ma'am, one of them says, still grinning, "You can't really blame your neighbor for not predicting a helicopter crash. You should have seen Karen's face. She looked like someone just insulted her potato salad recipe at a block party." And through all this, I'm still standing there wondering what kind of Twilight Zone episode I've wandered into. Neighbors start popping up, peeking over fences, phones, out some filming, some shaking their heads, one kid yelling, "Cool, my yard's now the main attraction." Meanwhile, Karen is relentless. She's not letting this go. "If your fence hadn't been so close, my son could have landed safely," she's saying, pacing back and forth like she's about to call Judge Judy. I wanted to ask her if she thought helicopters were fragile, like they'd melt if they came within 30 feet of a white picket fence, but I just bit my tongue. The police are trying their best to stay professional, but I can see the laughter in their eyes. One of them, trying to mediate, I guess, asks Karen if she's ever flown a helicopter herself. She sniffs. "No, but my son is very careful." Careful, huh? There's a helicopter doing yoga in my yard, and careful is her defense. At this point, the wreckage is all splintered wood, mangled metal, and my poor garden gnome who now looks like he survived a bar fight. Careful isn't the word I'd use. But Karen isn't done. Suddenly, she's filming phone out, narrating like she's auditioning for local news. "Notice how close the fence is," she shouts, zooming in on a broken post. I almost expected her to start doing live commentary. Here we see the wild fence in its natural habitat sabotaging innocent helicopters. The neighbors are loving it. Some are whispering, "Is this for real?" One is laughing so hard she drops her phone. Honestly, it's a full-blown circus, and I'm the main act without even knowing my lines. All the while, Karen's son stands off to the side, looking like he'd rather disappear. He mutters a few apologies, at least someone in that family is grounded, but Karen drowns him out, determined to rewrite physics and logic all in one afternoon. Finally, the police have to lay it out. "Ma'am, property placement isn't a crime. Your son crashed his helicopter. That's the story." She's fuming, but there's not much she can do, so she just keeps complaining. I'm halfway between wanting to laugh and wanting to hide. Then, because of course this isn't over, I notice the smell. Gasoline. Not just a faint whiff either, but the kind that gets your heart racing. I look over and there's a steady drip of fuel from the wrecked helicopter. Suddenly it's not funny anymore. One spark and we'd have a whole new kind of disaster. I shout for everyone to clear out, but Karen's still arguing. See, the fence did this? She's waving her arms, blaming the fence for a potential fireball. The cops glance at each other, clearly debating whether to call for backup or just let Darwinism do its thing. Neighbors are everywhere now, some filming, some calling the fire department, a few just gawking like it's movie night. Karen's son keeps apologizing, but his mom's on a mission. Finally, thank goodness, someone gets the fire department on the line. Sirens blare down the street. Firefighters leap out, assess the mess, and start siphoning off fuel like they've done this 1,000 times. Through it all, Karen's yelling about fence regulations, the firefighters ignoring her as politely as possible. By now, my yard looks like a war-zone splintered wood-wrecked gnome and a patch of grass that's never coming back. The neighbors are loving every minute one guy brings popcorn. No joke. Karen corners me again, arms waving, insisting everyone knows fences are dangerous. At this point, reality is a distant memory. I just nod, letting her wind herself out. The police finally have to escort her away, leaving me staring at the wreckage and wondering how my Tuesday spiraled into a reality show I never signed up for. Cleanup is an event in itself. The helicopter gets hauled off, the police give me a slip for insurance, and the neighbors, well, they've got stories for months. Even the local dog walker snaps a selfie with the carnage in the background. By the time the dust settles, I'm just glad nobody got hurt, except maybe my gnome's dignity. And as for Karen, she's still out there somewhere plotting the downfall of fences everywhere. The real kicker, though, is how fast word travels. By the time I've swept up the last of the debris, my yard is internet famous. Neighbors stop by with coffee commentary and theories about helicopter etiquette. Even the officer who laughed the hardest drops by one more time, shaking his head. I've seen some stuff, but this, first for me. A few days go by. I fix the fence, salvage what I can for my poor garden, try to get back to normal. But every time I look at that stretch of grass or my battered gnome, I remember that sometimes life really does throw helicopters at you. There's no manual for dealing with it, just patience, a sense of humor, and maybe a sturdy fence. Karen kept ranting about fence responsibility for weeks, her voice echoing in my social media notifications like some kind of haunted voicemail. But you know what? It's not about the helicopter. Not really. It's about the way we all deal with nonsense, the wild, unpredictable, and absolutely ridiculous moments that somehow end up being the stories we tell for years. So tell me this, if a helicopter crashed in your yard, would you blame the fence, the pilot, or just pour yourself another cup of coffee and ride it out? Let me know down below. I genuinely want to hear your take. Share your own can you believe this moments. Who knows, maybe next time I'll be telling your story, and hopefully nobody's gnome gets hurt. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit like, drop your comment, and subscribe for more real-life madness, because trust me, out here in the suburbs, you never know what's going to fall out of the sky next.